Okay, tell me this. Why do you feel like you're faking it even when your results are saying the opposite? And why does that feeling get so much louder right just about when you're about to level up? What if I told you that imposter syndrome isn't a sign that you're actually not good enough? It's often a sign that you actually care and you're growing, but you're reading the signal in the wrong way and you really can't help it. Top of the morning, everyone. My name is Tshidi and I'm back with another video. Today I'm breaking down exactly how to deal with imposter syndrome at work so that you can actually stop second guessing yourself, speak up a bit more with confidence, and actually enjoy the success that you've actually earned. Because if you don't handle it, it quietly steals those promotions that you've been looking for and your visibility. And stay with me because later in this video, I'm also going to share the one sentence that you can actually say in meetings that makes you sound confident even when your brain is screaming, please ask me a question. But first, let's name the real problem. Imposter syndrome is not I'm unskilled. It's I'm scared I'll be exposed. That's what imposter syndrome is. And it usually shows up like, you over prepare for everything. Like you're sitting for an exam. You don't apply for opportunities unless you actually take 99 to 100% of the boxes. You downplay your wins, but magnify your mistakes. You think everyone else has a manual that you actually missed. And here's the twist. It often hits the hardest when, number one, you've just been promoted. You are the youngest in the room. You're the only one who looks like you in that team. You moved into a new industry or bigger company. So if this is you, you are really not broken. You're purely human. Let me actually show you the trap that keeps people stuck. The trap is you try to actually feel confident before you act. You don't want to do it until you're actually confident. Most people actually wait to feel ready before they even speak up or lead or even apply for anything, which is generally a really bad idea. Confident isn't the ticket, it's the receipt that you get. You get it after you actually take action and survive that discomfort. So your new rule should be act first, feeling second, not reckless, just steady. Because in most cases, people like this are absolutely brilliant and they know exactly what to do. And to do that, you need a way to stop your brain from actually rewriting history every time you do something very well. Which brings me to the most underrated tool for imposter syndrome. Building evidence, not vibes. Your mind will normally gaslight you politely with that beautiful British accent. So you need those receipts to make sure that you can push back. Start a wins file that actually is, proper evidence for yourself. Positive feedback from managers or clients, results from your delivered, numbers if possible, projects that you've actually led, problems you've solved, times you've handled something very difficult. When imposter thoughts hit, don't argue with them emotionally. Present that evidence like you're a very good lawyer. Now, evidence helps, but you also need to stop comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel because you don't know exactly what is happening behind their scenes. Let's talk about comparison. Stop comparing your draft to somebody else's finished book. In meetings, you'll see someone who actually speaks smoothly, and sometimes you would end up assuming that they're actually even smarter. What you don't see is how many times they've actually said that idea before. You don't see the mistakes they've made in learning it, or the fact that they might actually be chatting pure confidence with half the details missing. A helpful reframe is you are not behind, you are in training. And when you're in training, it always feels messy, and that's the whole point. But what do you do in the moment, like when you actually, put on the spot and your brain completely goes blank? This is where most people actually panic, and this is where you can try and look calm. Use confident pause language in real time. And here are a few lines that you can actually use to buy time to make you sound a bit more composed. You've had this one before. That's a very good question. Let me think about that. Or you've had something like, let me actually make sure that I'm answering the right thing. Are you asking about X or Y? Or something like, here's what I actually know so far. What I would want to confirm is. Or the next thing could be, my initial view is A, but the risk normally is B. And here's the sentence that I actually promised guys at the beginning of this video. Based on what we know right now, the best next step is X. It's magic because it doesn't pretend that you know everything. It shows a bit of leadership. You're working with reality, not trying to actually perform perfection. And always reconfirming certain things helps you buy time in figuring out how you're going to answer that question. Now that we've actually handled the meaty moment or that sporadic moment where the question comes in, but imposter syndrome also shows up in how you work. People either shrink or they overwork. So let's try and actually fix that next. Don't overwork to earn your seat. Widen your impact instead. Overworking feels like, safety, and most of the time it's not. It's a slow leak that could actually lead you to a burnout. Instead of doing more, do clearer. Ask your manager, what does success look like in this role? Specifically, clarify priorities weekly. What matters most this week? Share progress early. Don't hide until it's perfect, because perfection is where imposter syndrome goes to do cardio. Also, start practicing visible competence. Speak once in every meeting. Even if it's actually small, summarize what you've heard. Things like, so the key point is ask one smart question, not 10 silent ones in your head. Small reps build a lot of confidence. And now there's one more thing that people actually ignore, but it changes everything. Separating your identity from your performance. If your self-worth rises and falls with your work, imposter syndrome will run and ruin your life. Your work is what you do, not who you are. So try and always reframe things this way. Instead of I'm not good at this, say I'm learning this. Instead of I don't belong, say I'm new and I'm getting better. And if you actually make a mistake, don't go straight to I'm incompetent. Go to what happened? What did I learn? What will I do differently next time? That's growth, not shame. And the beauty about that is even when you reflect with your line manager, you're able to actually give them the changes that you'll implement. So let's do a quick recap. Imposter syndrome is fear of exposure, not proof of failure. And action builds confidence, not the other way around. So keep the wins files, to fight the feelings with facts. Use confident pause phrases in meetings. Don't overwork, clarify priorities, and build as much visibility as possible. Detach your identity from your performance. And let's try and make this very practical. Here's a 7-day imposter challenge. Do this for just 1 week. Day number 1, guys, start your wins file. At least add about 10 items. Day number 2, ask your manager what great looks like in your current role. And then day number 3, speak once in a meeting. Even if it's actually a summary, just speak. And start doing that every single day in all the meetings that you've got. Day number 4, share progress update before it's actually perfect. Wherever you're at, even if you're at 30%, share progress update. Day number 5 is ask one clarifying question instead of staying silent in those particular meetings. Day number 6, write down one skill you're actually building and one action to actually practice that particular skill. And then day number 7, review your wins file and pick one win you'll actually stop downplaying, where you actually want to speak it up. If you do nothing else, do at least day 1. Evidence changes everything. What's the one situation at work that actually triggers your imposter syndrome the most? Interviews, meetings, starting a new role, or just being around senior people? Drop it in the comments, guys, and let's see where we can actually help you. So today we've covered how to spot imposter syndrome and how to stop waiting for confidence. How do you build proof of your competence, and what can you actually say to put you in the right conversations with the right people to build up that confidence? Now take one thing from this video and apply it before your next work day. One small rep, that's how you actually build confidence. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, don't forget to share and subscribe, and share this with as many people as you want, because we're trying to build a community. Until we meet again in the next video, peace.